Yes, they are. So, from what I know, my mom, she was born and raised in Thailand. You know, typical life, just living, going to elementary, middle school, high school, and then she worked in alteration, so just making clothing. And she enjoyed it and she wanted to be actually a fashion designer. And then my dad, um, his is kind of like a bit more sad because at that time there was a genocide going on in Cambodia, and because of that, everyone wanted to run away from Cambodia. So he did that because not only like you may be killed, but also that boys may be called to be a soldier to fight against what was going on there, and instead he fled to Thailand when he was a teenager, probably just all alone. And well, I'm assuming he went to school and he went to learn Chinese there, where he met my mom, and then he was sponsored from Lutheran Church in Bainbridge, I think, to come to America, and he did. Worked there a little bit, get his citizenship, and then he married my mom in Thailand to bring her here, and like, you know, they all lived happily ever after. Probably. I heard I have some family in California actually, and some in Virginia from my dad's side. Otherwise, my mom's side of the family, they're in Thailand, and then my dad's side, they're in Cambodia. But it's funny, so my grandparents, they're Chinese, and so they were originally from China, and then they fled. My dad's side of the family fled from China to Cambodia, I'm assuming, and then my mom's side is from Hong Kong. That's why I know, like Hong Kong to Thailand. I don't know if they fled or they just felt like, you know, a change of scenery. But yeah, I'm guessing I have family in China, but I don't know any of them. And I would be interested in getting to know them. And hey, like you never know if you're part of a royal family or a dynasty. But I heard it's tough trying to find family in China because they will want to just lie, just to get something from you. But yeah, I'm assuming they're all spread somewhere in Asia. So I would say yes because so my mom, she's Chinese Thai, and then my dad's Chinese Cambodian. And the way I was raised is that my dad didn't really talk about his culture very much. So I came from more of a Thai culture, a little bit of Chinese too. And so yeah, when they clash, one kind of falls out of my exposure to it. And it is pretty hard being being multicultural, I guess, because for me, when I visit my family, since I have more of a Thai background, then I understand my mom's side of the family, but when it comes to my dad, I can't communicate with them at all actually. Maybe like one or two people if they know Thai and just a little bit of Chinese or so, but otherwise no, I can't communicate with them. So it is pretty hard trying to bond with my side of the family over there. And then my parents, since they're from Asia and I was born in America, it's pretty tough because even my parents and I, we have a different cultural background, and we do clash here and there, but then we do kind of try to compromise and find a middle area to it. But otherwise it's good and bad having a clash. No, I guess, because I actually run into a lot of international students, and it's funny, they ask me where am I from, and of course I tell them I'm from America, right? But no, then they ask what kind of person I am. So it's just funny how they think I'm this type of person when I'm from this kind of area. But anyway, no. So when people ask me what is my ethnicity, I just let them guess actually. I never tell them. And I would get a lot of like Chinese, Vietnamese, Japanese, Korean, surprisingly. I rarely have people guess all three. Because when I say I am multicultural, they freak out. And yeah, they would never suspect that I'm Cambodian, probably from stereotypical physical looks. But I usually get like Northeast Asian ethnicity guesses. I would say I do get cultures mixed up, but since I don't know much about Cambodian culture and I just know a little bit of Thai culture and Chinese. But since I'm minoring in Japanese, yeah, I get it mixed up. For example, sometimes if I were to meet someone who's American, I guess, usually, yeah, we shake hands, right? No, for me, sometimes I actually bow and say like, hi, hi. I don't even like shake hands, but otherwise, I get it mixed a little bit. Especially my mom also, how she knows 5 languages. So she knows Thai, Chinese, well, Thai, Mandarin, no, not Cambodian, Cantonese, and English, and then another dialect of Chinese. If I were to be with my mom's friend who speaks Cantonese, but I can't speak Cantonese, she would get it mixed up and she would try to speak Cantonese to me when I don't even know what she's trying to say. And I just go, okay, mom. And then she realizes what she said, and yeah.
I know my mom is. My dad, kind of, I guess, because with my grandma, when she had my dad, my grandparents were actually in Kentucky. I'm not really exactly sure the reason, but she was pregnant with my dad in Kentucky, and she gave birth to him there. But like when he was about like a year or a couple years old, they went back to Nigeria, and he just spent he just grew up there for like most of his life, and then he came over to America, like, I don't know, in his like 20s to go to school. And they just like to find, because his dad kicked him out and he wanted to have a better life, so he came to America. And for my mom, she just wanted a better life in general, because in the Philippines, women are pretty much oppressed a lot. And there's a lot of cases of sexual harassment because of that. So my mom wanted a better life too. So she moved to America with her sister, who moved to America like a couple years before her, just, to have a better life. And my aunt, she was working in 7-Eleven, so was my dad at the time. So my aunt introduced my mom to my dad, and that's how they met. There's still, my mom and my dad are still trying to get used to the American culture, even till this day, because their homeland traditions and their culture is still most of what they know. So, yeah. Yeah, they are most definitely separated. The part of my family who are already been Americanized, they live like all over America. Like I got one in California, one in Colorado, one in Georgia. That's all I know of. So the rest of my family, they're all in Nigeria, or they're either all in the Philippines. I got a couple that are in Singapore who are working as a nurse, but yeah, they're all over the world. I also got one in London, but that's a different story. But yeah, they're all over the world. Most of them Nigeria and Philippines. Well, it hasn't really been an issue for me. I mean, like, every time I go to the Philippines, my Filipino family respect my Nigerian side, and when I go to Nigeria, my Nigerian family respect my Filipino side. So it hasn't really been an issue. They just respect it, and they try to help me, get into depth with the culture that they're in. Like if I'm in Nigeria, they try to get me into more depth into Nigerian culture, without completely washing out my Filipino identity. So it's, yeah, that hasn't really been a problem. It's not very often, but it's not uncommon. I do get that question from time to time, because they do see that there's like a little bit of Asian in me. Yeah, but most of the time people just think I'm black, African American. it's very rare, but yeah, it does happen. Like there are two different ways to introduce yourself to elders. Like for the Filipino side, like you have to take their hand, you know, like and just put it on your forehead. It's kind of awkward the way I'm doing it, but in Nigeria, you just have to do like a little curtsy. And sometimes, like when I'm with my Nigerian family, I'll like reach for their hand, and they'll be like, "What are you doing?" So something like that, but it's something small like that. And in the Philippines, you get to eat with your hands all the time, where in Nigeria, there's only certain foods where you're allowed to eat with your hands. And I guess I would get mixed up with that sometimes, and it can get a little awkward sometimes. And yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, being black and yellow is awesome. And if you haven't noticed, that song Black and Yellow by Wiz Khalifa, it's about me. Wait, not only me, all Blasians out there, all the ones that are black and yellow, you know, it's our anthem. Black and yellow, black and yellow. I mean, come on. I'm gonna get a shirt that says, "I heart being Blasian." Stay tuned.